Susan, Paula.
Zoom recording. All right, and we'll get started. Now, we're going to be mostly down on our back tonight, right? We'll sit up and do some stuff, but there's not a lot of standing, right? So whenever you're ready, we're going to start there. You're going to lay on your back. You can have your feet bent like mine are right now.
We need to mute ourselves.
So I can mute everybody.
Okay.
Right, so you can lay with your legs extended, or you can lay with your knees bent, whatever feels good to you, right? I'm going to sit up right now so that I can talk to you guys, but you can be on your back. Just taking your first few moments to arrive. Let yourself get in tune with your body, with your breath. So start to notice your breath here. You don't have to control it yet. Just pay attention to it. Let it start to take over. Let it guide you and ground you to your mat. And sometimes, like I said, when we practice yoga, we bring our awareness to our bodies in ways that we usually don't, right? So that's what I want you to think about tonight, is just becoming aware of your body. We're going to go through a series of sequences, right, where they start easy and they get a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, right? You don't have to take it. You don't have to climb all the way up that ladder. That's what I was talking about before, right? You can stay at the bottom rung. It's okay. We got to build that foundation before we can go on. I was talking about earlier, right, with the ice storm that we had here in this area this week, and without consistent power, a lot of people didn't have consistent water, they didn't have hot water, they didn't have drinking water, right? Everybody had to take it down to that base level. Right? Your base level needs are food, shelter, warmth, right? And most of us, we're not used to being at that level where those are a concern. We're used to having those no matter what, right? And so that allows us then to go up the ladder and to focus on other things. Focus on our connections, our relationships. Building a robust social life. And then once we do that, then we can start to focus on things like education, career, accomplishments, right? And eventually we get to that place where we can really think about finding our place in the universe, connecting on a deeper level, doing amazing creative things. Right? But you can't get to that level when you're worried about whether or not your house has heat tonight, when you're worried about what you're going to eat tonight. Sometimes you got to stay at that level and let that be the focus, right? And it's the same in our yoga practice, right? Sometimes we can climb up the ladder and we can do amazing things with our bodies, right? And some days we've got to keep it at the base level. If you're focusing on whether or not today you can get your knee to bend and unbend, right? Maybe you can't focus on whether or not you can throw your foot over your head, and that's okay. Focus enough on getting your knee to bend and unbend, and eventually it will easily, and then you can go up the ladder. That's what yoga is all about. Sometimes we climb all the way at the top. Sometimes we got to keep it at the bottom. Now, if you're ready here, start to think about controlling your breath a little bit. Just breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Let your breaths become longer, slower, and deeper. So as you inhale, you're pulling that breath all the way down into your belly. And as you exhale, you're pushing it all the way out. And we can really start to make our breath and our bodies work together, move with our breath. All right, so when you're ready here, right, you guys are laying on your back. You're gonna extend your legs all the way long if they're not already. Move back here so y'all can see me, right? Take your arms overhead and just reach your fingertips towards the back of the room. Point your toes like they're the tip of a pencil. And just take this deep, full body stretch, right? Letting everything open up. And then from there, take your knees and just hug them in to your chest. Okay. And we're just gonna rock a little bit from side to side here. Giving yourself just a little spinal massage. Now, from there, you're going to keep your right leg hugged all the way in to your chest. And you're going to take your left leg, extend it all the way long. Right, so my left leg is extended here. I've got that right knee hugged in nice and tight. Okay, so this is basically your base level, like I was talking about, right? You just want to get to a place where you hug that knee in. And that left foot extends, or that left leg extends and goes to the floor. If you need to keep it here while we do the rest of the sequence, that's okay. Right? Now, if it feels all right, we're going to take a twist. You're going to let your right arm go out long, off to the side, so it's coming straight out of your shoulder blades, and your fingertips are going towards the right side of the room. Take your left hand outside your right knee and just pull that right knee over to the left side of your body. Let your gaze go over your right shoulder. So you start to feel that sensation in your right hip. Maybe you can get that right knee to come all the way to the ground. Maybe it's up high. Right? Wherever you are, it's good. Take a few breaths here. Let yourself feel that sensation. When you're feeling something in yoga, that's how you know it's working. You're not feeling anything, then why are we even doing it? All right, now from here, you're going to bring that right knee back up, hug it back into your chest. And then take your right leg. Now you're going to kick it up to the sky, right? You're going to flex your right foot so your toes come back by your face and you're pushing the heel towards the ceiling. Take your hands and just bring them wherever feels good around your right leg, around your right thigh, right? Maybe it's at your upper thigh, maybe it's behind your knee, maybe you can get all the way up to your calf or your ankle, or you can grab your foot, right? Right now your head and shoulders is down on the mat and you're just pulling that right leg towards you, starting to feel that opening in your right hamstring. All right, so I was talking about climbing the ladder before. This is literally where maybe we're going to start climbing the ladder, right? So if it feels okay to you, you lift your head and shoulders up off the mat, and maybe you can walk your hands a little bit higher, right? So now my head and shoulders are off the mat. I'm pulling that knee a little closer to me. My knee and my nose are coming together, right? If you need to keep it down a rung, then you're just letting your head and shoulders stay on the mat. You don't have to climb up, right? But if you do climb up, maybe you're getting that extra sensation. Maybe that's what your body needs. Maybe that feels amazing to you, right? That's where we want to be, that place where we're getting something out of it. Now, one last rung here. If you want to, you can let your left heel lift off the mat, right? Just a little bit, just so it hovers. And now your core is getting involved, right? Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you don't. Maybe you let the left heel stay down. Maybe your head and shoulders are still down, right? Find your spot here, your rung on the ladder, where this is feeling good, getting something out of it. That's right where you want to be. Wherever that is, take 3 more breaths here. And let everything come back down. If you lift it up, right, bend back into your right knee. Hug it back in to your chest. Let that right knee's hug back in. Now we're going to switch out. You're going to let that right leg go all the way long. Take your left knee, hug it in to your chest. So you're hugging that left knee in and just angling that left knee a little bit towards your left armpit. Right now, if you want to add that twist here, let your left arm go out long, left fingertips reaching straight towards the left side of the room. Take your right hand outside your left knee and just pull that left knee over to the right. So we're starting to open up that left hip here. And again, the more you push down on that knee, the more sensation you're going to feel. You control it. What level do you need to be at? What room do you need to be on? Right here, you're going to take that left knee, bring it back into your chest first, right? And then kick it straight up to the sky. So you want to straighten that leg out and then flex your foot. Bring the left toes down toward your face, heel up towards the ceiling. And then again, you're just taking your hands right now, just around wherever you want to on your left thigh. Maybe it's your thigh, maybe it's behind your knee, maybe it's your calf, your ankle, or your foot. And you're pulling that leg toward you, starting to get that sensation in that way, right? You don't have to go all the way up the ladder. You can stay down at the bottom rungs. Right, we all know we're going to add on a little bit to that ladder in a second, right? Find where you want to be. Couple breaths here. And then when you're ready here, you're going to walk it back up, right? Let your head and shoulders lift. Bring your nose and your knee together, right? If you want to take that step. If you want to keep it down a level, you keep your head and shoulders on the ground. Stay where you were. Wherever you are, keep pushing that heel up towards the ceiling. And then if you want to take it that one extra rung, you can let your right heel float up off the mat, right? Pull that left knee further in. So now you're hovering everything, making your core work a little bit. If that doesn't feel great to you, then let that left heel or right heel stay on the ground. Let's take 3 or 4 more breaths right here. And then from there, let yourself walk it back down. Bend into your left knee. Back into your chest. Now take both these into your chest. Take another couple of those rocks where you just rock back and forth along your spine. Right? And then from there, let your feet drop down to the mat. Right? You're going to take both arms out long here in that T position. And then toe your feet just a little bit wider so those pinky toes line up with the edges of the mat. We're going to take a couple windshield wipers here. It means you're just going to let both knees fall over to the right with your shoulders still staying anchored to the ground. Pull those knees up to center and let them drop to the left. Just go back and forth here a couple times. And eventually, right next time your knees go over to the left, you're going to bring them back up the center. Take the knees back into your chest. And this time, you're just going to take your hands to the crease of your knees. Now you can rock yourself right up to seated, or if you need to, you can roll to the side and push yourself up to seated. Okay. So we're all going to come up to easy sit here. Doesn't matter which leg's in front, right? But we're going to open up our spine a little bit here before we go on to our next sequence. So you're going to be here in easy sit, and then just sweep your hands up to the sky. Reach them up. And then as you exhale, drop your right hand to the right, right? And then take your left hand, reach it up and over. We're just taking a little side bend. Maybe you can get that right elbow to come all the way to the ground. Maybe you're just on your palm. And then come back up here. Now take it the other way. Drop that left hand down to your left side. Reach that right hand up and over. Come back up here, hands reaching overhead. And then as you exhale here, we're going to take a twist. Drop that right hand back behind you. Take your left hand outside your right knee. And take your chin, your gaze over your right shoulder. Right? So you're trying to turn your torso to the right. Now untwist here, bring it all back up. And then as you exhale, twist the other way. Now take your left hand back behind you. Take your right hand outside your left knee. Look over your left shoulder. And then untwist, come back up to center here. Reach your hands to the sky. Now you're going to drop your hands back behind you with your fingertips pointed towards your glutes. Right now you can't see that. My fingertips are pointed towards my glutes, but they're right behind my hips. I'm going to lean back to them. Pull the shoulder blades together so you're opening your chest. Start to look up towards the ceiling. So it's a little back bend. Right? Maybe you stay right here. If you want to climb one more rung up the ladder, right? Maybe you push into your palms, push your knees forward, lift your hips up off the mat. You don't have to do that part if you don't want to. And then drop your hips back down. If you lifted them, come back up, bring your shoulders over your hips, sweep your hands back up to the sky. Now you're going to turn your palms right towards the front of the room. I'm just moving back a little bit so everything stays on camera. Right, so towards the top of your mat. And then just drop your hands down to the mat in front of you and start to walk yourself as far forward as you can go. You want to keep your hips on the ground so you feel that pull in them. Right? Otherwise, walk your hands as far forward as you can. Maybe they're only right in front of your shins. Maybe you can get a little deeper. Just take 2 breaths here. And then we're going to bring it back up. All right, now as you come back up here, we're going to do that pose one more time, that last fold, right? But we're going to switch our legs first. You're going to bring your opposite leg in front, right? It's going to feel a little different. It's going to feel a little more awkward. That's okay, right? We want to even the legs out. So take your hands up to the sky here. Turn your palms again towards the top of your mat. And then just drop them down right in front of your shins and walk it out. Walk as far forward as you can without letting those hips come up. Feel that pull in the hips. And when you're ready, walk it back up here, nice and slow. All right, now what we're going to do from here, right? You're going to take your right leg and kick it out straight, right? So your right leg's coming straight in front of you. A little bit further back here so you guys can see. The sole of your left foot is against your right inner thigh, right? And you're going to turn your torso towards your right leg. And at first, we're just going to do a basic seated butterfly, half butterfly forward fold here. So you're going to walk yourself out like we just did in that forward fold, right? You're walking yourself out over your right leg. Maybe your hands can come all the way and you can grab your foot. Maybe your hands are just on your ankle, your shin, your knee. Maybe they're on the mat on either side of you. Okay? But you're letting yourself lean forward. Now you're keeping your back flat here, right? You're not tucking your chin. You're not trying to drive your head to the mat. You're just trying to bring your chest as far forward as it wants to go. Feel this in your hamstring. In the back of your right leg, right? You're also going to feel that little twist in your low back as you turn to the right. Let's take 3 more breaths here. From here, you're going to walk it back up until you're sitting up tall again, right? Now, from here, right, you're going to take your right hand, bring it right to the top of your right thigh. And you're going to start to slide that right hand down your leg as much as you can, right, reaching towards your toes. Maybe you can grab onto your toes. Your chest is going to start to spin to the left. Now you have 3 options here, what you want to do with your left hand, right? If you want to keep it down on the bottom rung, maybe you just take your left hand and you press into your left knee as you rotate your chest to the left, right? Maybe you take your left hand and wrap it around behind your back, reach toward your right inner thigh with that left hand, right? In the middle level. Now maybe you want to take your left hand up to the sky, reach it up and over and start to reach your left fingertips toward your right toes. These are all good options. One of these is going to feel amazing to somebody, right? So you've got to find the one that makes you feel amazing. It doesn't have to be the one I'm doing, right? It doesn't have to be the one everybody else is doing. It's the one that makes you feel good. It's the rung on the ladder where you need to be. More breaths right here. And now we're slowly coming back up. All right, now as we come back up, now here, you're gonna take your left hand, bring it back behind your left hip, right? So your palms planted on the ground back behind your left hip. Now your right hand's gonna go up to the sky here, right? And again, here, if you want to, you can push into your left hand, push into the line of your left shin, and you can let your hips lift up, drive those right toes into the mat, and reach that right hand over, right? Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe your hips don't come off the ground, and you're just reaching over. It's all good. Find your spot here. All right, and then you're going to let your hips float back down. If you brought them up, bring both hands around back in front of you. All right, now here, we're going to do one more thing, right? One more walk up the ladder if you want to do it, right? What everybody's going to do here, we're going to sit up tall, so we're not leaning forward, right? But you're bringing both hands to the mat on either side of your right leg. And you want to really flex those right toes. Let them come back towards your face. And then from there, if you want to try this, you can see if you can lift your right foot up, right? And then drop it back down. So you're not leaning way back when you do it. You're trying to keep your shoulders over your hips, not leaning forward, not leaning back. If it feels okay, you want to do it, right? Working the quad, you can do it 5 times. If you want to skip it, right, then you're just sitting up tall with that leg extended, staying at your rung of the ladder. More time here if you want to do it, and then bring it all the way down. All right, now from here, we're going to do all that on the other side, right? So you're going to kick your left leg out straight, bend into your right knee, bring the sole of your right foot against your left inner thigh. All right, we start out easy, start at the bottom level just with a simple half butterfly forward fold. So you're going to angle yourself toward your left leg, keep your back nice and flat, but walk your chest out, fold over that left leg. Maybe you're grabbing onto your foot, maybe you're at the ankle, the shin, the knee, maybe your hands are relaxed on either side of your left leg. Just try to follow the line of your left leg, getting that sensation going through the left hamstring. When you're ready here, slowly walk it back up. Right now, we're gonna walk back up, right? And now you're gonna take that left hand to the left thigh. This is where you slide it out towards your left toes, and then your right hand either presses against your right knee as you start to rotate your chest to the right. Maybe that right hand wraps around your back, or maybe that right hand reaches up and over as you rotate your chest around. 3 different rungs of the ladder. And you're not always on the same rung, right? It's like the ice storm, right? Where we're used to being a little higher on the ladder of our hierarchy of needs. Right? But sometimes we have to go back down and take it to the food, shelter, warmth level, right? It's like that here, right? Some days you can probably, maybe I should say some days, everybody can, right? There's somebody here who can probably get their hand over to their foot most days, right? But then there's the day where you slept wrong, or you worked out too hard, or you're just tired, and it's okay to take it back a few rungs and just press into your knee. Right? Sometimes we think when we get to the top of the ladder that we have to stay there forever, right? You don't. It's okay to climb back down. Be where you need to be on any given day. 2 more breaths here. And then we're going to slowly peel it back up, right? Now you're going to take your right hand, bring it back behind you. So you're dropping that right hand flat to the mat, back behind your right hip. Your left hand's going to reach up and over, right? Now, if you want to here, you can push into your right hand and push into your right shin. Let those left toes go to the ground and lift your hips up. You don't have to. You can stay with your hips on the ground, just reaching over. Not going to stay here as long. Just another 3 breaths. And then let yourself come back down. Sweep that hand back around. Right? And now we're going to come with both hands around to the front. They're going to be on either side of your left leg, but you're not folding forward, right? You're keeping your shoulders as much as you can, right, over your hips. So don't lean forward, don't lean back, right? Just plant your hands somewhere on either side of your left leg, and then really flex into that left foot, toes back towards you. And then maybe, if you want to, you can lift that left leg up off the ground and just lift it up and down a few times, right? If you're doing that, 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, and then from there, now you're going to take both legs, extend them long, right? And just take a simple seated forward fold here. Swoop your hands up to the sky, right? And fold over both legs. Just hinge at the hip, come down. Just like when we were doing those half butterflies, right? You don't want to round your back. You're not tucking your chin. You're not trying to get your head down. Just bring your chest as far forward as you can. Your legs are nice and open now, right? So maybe you'll notice that you can go a little deeper than you thought you could. One more breath here. And then we're slowly going to peel it back up. All right, now from here, we're going to come around back into tabletop, right? I shouldn't say back. I don't know that we've been there yet tonight. But tabletop is that hands and knees pose, right? That's where we want to be right now. Right, so you're going to come into your tabletop. Hands shoulder width distance apart, knees hip width distance apart, shoulders right over the wrists, hips right over the knees. All right, now what we're going to do from here, you're going to take your right foot and just step it straight out to the right. Right, so now your right heel is on the ground, right? Your right toes are pointed forward. Your hands are still on the ground. We're going to take the right hand, move it out of the way. So you're going to wrap it around behind your back, right? And then from there, you're going to step your right foot next to your left hand. Right? Maybe you can do that in one step. Maybe it takes you a couple, right? You're there, and then you're going to drop that right hand down outside your right foot. So now you're in a kneeling runner's lunge. Now what I want you to do, if you can, is move that left knee back. Like mine is right underneath my left hip right now because that's where it was when I was in tabletop. But I'm just gonna move the knee back a little bit so that my hip comes in front of the left hip. My right knee stays right over my right ankle, right? Now we're gonna come up here, and again, rungs of the ladder, right? If you want to, all you gotta do is bring your right hand to your right knee, take your left hand, put it on top, maybe push yourself up, right? Or if it feels really good, maybe you're taking your hands all the way up to the sky, pushing your lower body forward while your upper body leans back. That feels good to you. Right? If you do it right and your hip flexors open, it does feel amazing, right? But some days maybe you gotta keep it here, maybe you gotta keep it all the way down here. It's okay. Now, wherever you are there, we're gonna shift it into a half pyramid, right? So you're gonna let your right leg go all the way straight. Let your right toes flip up off the mat. So you're dropping your left hip back towards your left heel. It doesn't have to come all the way to the left heel. And you're folding over your right leg, bringing your nose toward the right knee. Square off your hips here, right? Draw that right hip forward, push that left hip further back. So you start to get that deep sensation in your right hamstring. The more you push your left hip back towards your left heel, the more you're gonna feel it, but you don't wanna sit down on that heel, even if you could, right? You keep a little space so you feel the stretch. That's where we wanna be here. Your hands can be wherever they want. Maybe they're up here all the way by your ankle. Maybe they're back here by your knees or your hips. Just take a couple more breaths here. And then we're gonna bring it back forward, bend back into that right knee, right? So you're coming back into your kneeling runner's lunge. Now from here, you're gonna take both hands and bring them to the inside of your right knee, right? And now you're squeezing that right knee into your right shoulder, right? So this is dragon pose. This is the basic dragon, right? Lots of rungs on the ladder in dragon, right? So maybe you're here, you got your palms to the inside of your foot, you got that knee squeezing into the shoulder, your knee down, you stay right here, right? Maybe you can drop it down to your forearms, come to your elbows. If that feels good to you, you should go there, right? Some of you can probably work that right shoulder underneath that right knee, wrap your hand around. If that feels good to you, do it. Right? Maybe you're feeling like you need a little more tonight and you want to tuck your left toes under and come up off your left knee. Hang out right here. Right? Again, opening the hip flexors even more. Those are all your rungs of the ladder. Right? Find which one you belong on tonight. Let's just take 3 more breaths here. And then everybody's gonna come back up to their palms. Right? Shift back a little bit, walk your hands back. We're just trying to make our way back into tabletop, right? So you start to let your right leg straighten. Maybe you can just swing that right knee back. Maybe you gotta step it out again and come back. Right? But make your way back to tabletop. Maybe you dropped your hips all the way down and rolled back up. It's all good. Now, wherever you are here, you're gonna take your left foot, step it out to the left, get that foot flat to the ground, right? And then take your left hand, wrap it around behind your back. Once that left hand's wrapped around behind your back, you're gonna take your left foot and you're gonna bring it next to your right hand, right? So it might take a bunch of little steps to get there. Maybe you can do it in one big step, that's okay, right? You're getting where you need to be with that left knee over the left ankle, and then you're gonna take your left hand, drop it down, bring it to the outside of your left foot. Now think about your right knee, right? Probably you have to shift it back a little bit so it's not right underneath your hip. You know, putting all that pressure right on your right kneecap. Right, so once you get to a comfortable place here, then you're gonna take your left hand, bring it to your left knee, take your right hand, bring it to your left knee, push yourself up, right? If this feels good, maybe you're staying right here, right? Maybe it doesn't feel good, you're staying down here. Maybe you can bring your hands all the way up to the sky and reach up. You're all the way reached up, or even if you've got your hands down on your knee, right? Maybe you want to push that upper body back a little bit while that lower body pushes forward. Don't push your knee, your left knee past your ankle, right? But as you push your hips forward and you take your upper body back, you'll start to feel an opening in both hip flexors. Now we're going to bring it all the way down here into our half pyramid. So you're going to let your left leg straighten, let your left toes flip up off the mat, drop your hands down here on either side of your left leg. And then really let yourself fold over that left leg. Bring your nose towards your left knee, square your hips, left hip forward, right hip pushes back. Find your spot here. It might not be the same spot on the other side, right? You're on a different ladder rung here. Take your hands further up. You can bring them further back. Maybe you can sink your hip lower here. Maybe you got to keep it all higher. It's all good. Let's take 4 more breaths. Now let's bring it back forward here. Bend back into your left knee. Bring your left hand over, or your left knee right over your left ankle. And then you're going to take both hands to the inside of your left foot. So we're coming to our dragon here. You can squeeze that left knee in towards your left shoulder. And again, you can stay right here. Palms on the ground, just squeezing that knee in towards the shoulder. If you want to drop down to your elbows, you can do that. If you want to work that left shoulder underneath the left knee, you can do that. If you want to come up off your right knee, you can do that. Find your version. Let's take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, let's all bring it back into tabletop, right? You can shift back. And again, you can swing that knee back, or right, you can take little steps, step it out to the side, bring it back around, and just make your way back. Come back to that tabletop, that hands and knees pose. Take a couple cat-cows here, just to let that spine open back up. So as you inhale, lift your chin up to the sky, tuck your tailbone under, let your belly drop for cow. Exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, round out your back, hollow out your armpits for cat. Just keep moving here. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. So find a rhythm here, right, with your breath. You don't have to match it to mine. Your breath might be faster or slower than mine. Find your own rhythm. Find the rhythm of your breath. Match your movements to it. Take a few more rounds. And eventually, we're all going to meet back here in tabletop, just a neutral tabletop. Once you get here, let your hips come to one side or the other, right? And then swing your legs around in front of you, right? We're going to lay down on our back here. So let your arms go out long, tuck your chin to your chest, and just let yourself round all the way down. I'm going to angle myself a little bit here so you guys can see me for this part, right? So you're laying on your back. Now, take your right foot up. You're going to bring that right ankle on top of the left knee. Let your right knee fall out to the side. So you're doing this figure 4 with your legs, right? You're making that little number 4 with your legs. Now, we're trying to get some sensation going in the right hip here. Maybe you're feeling that just doing this, right? Or you can lift up your left foot and start to pull your legs closer to your chest. And then maybe you slide your right hand to the inside of your left thigh, your left hand to the outside of your left thigh, interlace your hands behind the left thigh, right? Makes kind of a lever, right? The more you pull that left knee toward your body, or that left thigh toward your body, the more sensation you're going to feel in that right hip. Maybe you want to kick your left leg up to the sky. Maybe you want to drop that left heel down to your left glute. Take your hands around your left shin instead of your thigh. Right? These are all good options. Find your place here. You want to feel some sensation again, right? If we're not feeling anything in yoga, we're not doing anything in yoga. So you want to feel some sensation here, that opening in your hip, but you don't want it to be so much sensation You can't hang out here in the pose. So let's take 4 more breaths here. And then eventually, right, you lifted that left foot up. You're going to put it back down. Now you're still in the figure 4, right? And we're going to do some twisting here. So you can take your arms out in that T position if you want to here, right? And or you can take them to cactus arms where you bend your elbows and fingertips go towards the ceiling. You're going to kind of use your right foot to drag that left knee over, right? And let both knees fall over to the right while you're looking to the left. I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but my knees don't come down to the mat when I do this. It's okay, right? If you want to take that right foot and just kind of slide it underneath the left so that your knees stack on each other and you're in a normal supine twist, that's an option here, right? Our foundation is the twist, right? So maybe we're on the bottom rung of the ladder, just doing our basic twist, right? Maybe we take it up a level if your body's ready for that. If you've built the foundation, you can go a little further. It's okay if you're still at the foundation building level. You can spend your time there. Get where you need to be. Right, now when you're ready here, bring your knees back up. Now you're still in this figure 4 position, right? Now we're going to take our knees the other way. So the knees are going to drop to the left. What's going to happen is that your right foot is going to come flat to the floor, right? Like this. And again, maybe you have to step that right foot over. Maybe it comes outside your shin or it comes down by your ankle, right? That's okay, right? Maybe you can keep it over the knee. Now, if you want to, you can take your left hand, press into that right knee, and just push that right knee a little bit away from you as you start to get into the inner thighs. But maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you just want to keep your hand reaching out or in that cactus arm. All good. Now, when you're ready here, pull everything back up again. And this time, as we get to the figure 4, now you can take that right foot, set it down, and come back to that constructive rest pose. All right, so we're going to do all those on the other side. So now you're going to pick up your left foot, put that left ankle on top of the right knee, make your figure 4 here. Right? Trying to open up the left hip. Maybe you want to stay right here. Maybe you want to pick up that right foot and start to bring the legs towards you, right, towards your chest. You can slide that left hand to the inside of the right thigh and the right hand to the outside of the right thigh. So interlace your hands behind that right thigh as you pull that chin even closer. Maybe you want to kick your right leg up to the sky. Maybe you drop it all the way down. Find your place here. May not be the same place, probably not the same place that it was on the left. But the same goal here, to feel enough sensation that we understand why we're doing this, right? But not so much sensation that we can't do this. All right, now when you're ready, release wherever you had behind the right leg. If you lifted your right foot up, let it come back down to the floor. And we're going to do our twist here. So we're going to twist to the left first. Take your arms out in that T position or in those cactus arm position. You're using that left foot to kind of pull that right knee over as you twist to the left. So you're looking over your right shoulder here, right? And again, if you want to take that left foot and just slide it under the right and be in this basic twist, that's okay. But sometimes we got to keep it at the basic level. Right? When it was storming last week, we had no power, we had no internet, right? The house is cold half the time. And my oldest daughter, she's a sophomore in high school, and she's freaking out about a history essay that she has due. And she's like, I know it's due tonight. I should try to write it. And I'm like, how are we going to write it? It's cold, you're freezing, we have no power, we have no internet, you have no way to research it. I said, sometimes, you just got to focus on staying warm and staying fed. You can't focus on writing a history essay, right, when your basic needs aren't being met. Right? So it's kind of like that. Sometimes we've got to take the easier twist just to let our bodies be able to twist. Right? When we've met that basic level, then we can take it up. All right, now when you're ready here, pull your knees back up. Now we're going to take that one last twist here where we go over to the right. So this time, as your feet come down, or as your knees fall to the right, your left foot should land flat on the floor. And again, it doesn't have to be over your knee, right? You might have to step it so it's behind your knee or by your ankle, and that's okay. If you want to add on from here, you can take your right hand and push that left knee away from your body so you get into the outer thigh a little bit. You don't have to do that. You just stay where you are. Let's take a couple breaths here. All right, and then when you're ready here, use that left foot, draw that right knee back up. And then you're just going to set that left foot down on the mat. So we're back in this constructive rest, right? Let your hands come to your sides, palms face down. Maybe you're going to walk your heels in a little bit closer, right? And then from here, you can lift your hips up off the mat, right? Maybe if you have a block, you slide that block under the mat. Try to tuck your shoulders under at least slightly so your chest is puffing open. If you want to make this really deep, you can clasp your hands underneath your body and get your shoulders all the way underneath so your hips lift even higher, right? Maybe your hips are just on the ground, right? You're just bringing your shoulder blades together, pushing that chest up. If that's where your body's at tonight, that's okay. Find your place here. Just a couple breaths in this bridge. Your chest open. Letting that back become more flexible. And then eventually here, you're going to float your hips all the way back down to the mat. And then we're going to take our feet and kick them straight up to the sky. Flex your feet like you're going to step on the ceiling. So now we're here in this waterfall. Your head and shoulders all on the ground. Your feet are flexed so that the blood's going from your feet where it pools all day back to your head and your heart where you need it more. In addition to that increased circulation, we're also naturally lowering our blood pressure, resetting our circadian rhythm, our sleep cycle. Lots of good things happen when we get a little bit upside down. Take a couple more breaths here, right? Maybe you got to grab behind your legs, give them a little support, that's okay. And then when we're ready to come out of this, we're all going to come out the same way. We're going to bend our knees, scrape along the face and body, and drop your feet back down to the mat. Once we're here, we're going to come into happy baby. Your feet are going to go up again. This time they don't have to go straight up, bring them more at an angle, not right over your hips, right? But they can be right over your hips if that's what feels good to you. Okay. Separate your feet, maybe slightly, maybe a whole lot. Again, that's up to you. You bend your knees, maybe slightly, maybe a whole lot, whatever feels right. And then reach up for your same foot with your same hand. If you don't grab your foot, you grab your ankle, your shin, your knee, wherever you make that connection, it's good. Once you've made it though, then you're going to roll forward a little bit. You want to feel that sacrum in the lower part of your back. Press into the mat, and you can rock from side to side here, just giving yourself a little spinal massage. It should feel good as we do the spinal massage, right? If it doesn't feel good, then you just don't do it. You stay still. It's happy baby. It's supposed to be the happy part of our practice. It's supposed to feel good, so make it that way. If now that you're in it, you want to change your leg position and let your legs be longer, or wider, or straighter, right? Find that happy place in your happy baby. And then from there, take your knees, bring them all the way in to your chest. Let your arms go out to that T. And just one last time, we're going to take a little twist here, right? So you're letting your knees fall to the right. Doesn't have to be anything fancy here, right? You can make it fancier if you want. If you need to climb the ladder, climb the ladder. Stay here at the bottom rung. We just want to bring it out at the end, finish off with a twist. So we can seal off our practice. Bring your knees back to center here, and then drop them over to the left. Look to the right. We finish off with a twist. Next time we come practice, everything seems a little easier, and we're able to go everywhere a little deeper, right? Build that foundation. Maybe we can even climb one more rung up the ladder, but maybe not, right? All right, bring your knees back to center here. Give them one final hug into your chest. And then we're going to set up for our final pose, our Shavasana, right? So your traditional Shavasana, you're flat on your back, legs are extended, hands are at your side. Now you don't have to stay there if it's not comfortable to you, right? You can always bend your knees, maybe let them fall in against each other to take pressure off your low back. Maybe you butterfly your legs, bringing the soles of your feet together. Maybe you need to roll to your belly or roll to your side or sit up. I want you to find somewhere that's comfortable to you, perfectly comfortable, so that you can stay perfectly still and you can allow your mind to go perfectly quiet. We can always, always use the breath to bring us to that quiet of the mind. You're not controlling your breath anymore. You're letting it go, letting it do its own thing. But you keep noticing it, you keep observing it, keep cataloging it. Let your breath begin to guide you. Let it guide you right to a place where there's nothing left in your mind but you and your breath. When you get there, that's your true quiet of the mind. Now slowly start to come back into the room. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, feeling that increased sensation that comes with a quiet mind. If you want to here, you can take your arms overhead, do a nice full, deep body stretch. And then from there, just roll over onto your right side in a fetal position. Take a couple breaths right there, just to reacclimate to our space. Let the sights, the sounds of the room come back to you. Take as long as you need right here. But then when you're ready, only when you're ready, push yourself up to seated. And we can close here. As you inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. As you exhale, bring them down to heart center. Thank you, all of you, for sharing your energy, your practice with me this evening. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. I'm going to unmute you guys now. Or I guess you have to unmute yourselves. Okay, so you guys can unmute yourselves.
Paula, that was really great.
Yes, thank you.
Great class.
Thank you, Paula. Wonderful.